Hello and welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Joel Meyer. And again, Jared Schmidt. Play the Puck is back again. How we doing, guys?
I'm pretty banged up, but it's all for a good cause. Remember a few months ago when old Donald Trump got shot and unloaded everything on Donald Trump, and he skyrocketed as a huge favorite. But of course, he was going against Biden at the time, and then when Harris was nominated, the odds switched to a pick'em, but Trump went off the favorite, and he never looked back. Like I ended up hedging a little bit with Harris when she was like 4-1, but no, there was no back and forth like there were in previous elections. So, but there's all good because I was way more exposed on Trump from earlier on in the year. But yeah, that was awesome. I barely got any sleep last night, so it's going to be a lackluster Joel here, but we carry on. We at least I made it just in time.
Yeah, I didn't dabble in any of the political lines this time. I was actually funny talking with Carter there, my partner, yesterday. Trump was still at -160, so I was like, should we just be nuking this or like what? And then hindsight, we should have, but well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll carry it here, Joel. That's kind of why we got a third guy now. We got a third voice. You don't have to talk too much. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, political props weren't your way that last night. My hockey picks didn't really go too well, especially the my puck buck bets. I know I saw Catfish Dilly saying fade the podcast, or listen to the podcast, makes him lose. But I mean, Joel did well last night. I did. He's
just pissed off still that I made fun of him for saying the Kings don't let any shots when they're second best in the league.
Yeah, no, he's a little butthurt there, but yeah, get in that Discord, sg.pn/Discord. Follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple or Spotify, and subscribe, like, and comment on YouTube there. All right, any takeaways from last night before we get into our puck buck picks from last night?
Takeaways, the salami didn't hit. That's always the first thing I think of. But there's been fewer goals, I guess, as we get deeper in the season. Teams get a little bit better, more structured defensively and whatnot. Goalies get a bit more into the rhythm of things. And yeah, so we look towards a few more unders going forward, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, a lot of takeaways. Bunch of games last night. I'm not really thinking of anything in particular. But yeah, once we go through our picks, I guess we can find something.
Yeah, I've seen unders are hitting like at 57% over the past, I don't know if it's like a week or two, something like that. So, definitely a lot more unders now. Nathan McKinnon back. I think he had 5 points, at a point on every Avalanche goal. Cale Makar, though, is apparently out with an injury. He missed some time.
What?
During it. Well, he did not play at all in the second half of the game. I know they were winning pretty big, but not good news there for Makar. Quinn Hughes back.
What else? What's next for the Avalanche and their injuries?
They got Lehkonen back.
Yeah, and then lose Makar. Great.
Yeah. Jared, any takeaways from last night? Any big bets hit for you?
No, I actually am sitting in piss right now. I went 1-4 last night were my bets, so I struggled for sure. The Jets team total was a frustrating one because I watched most of that game and they dominated full 60 minutes, was all over Utah, and could still only muster 3 goals. So no Connor assist there as well. So that gravy train has finally come to an end. But yeah, looking at this slate, it looks pretty good. I do agree on the unders. I think as I was going through my notes today, I'm like, holy shit, I got a lot of unders here. So we'll see. But that's a McKinnon prop. I noticed his assist prop is set at like -320. That is like ridiculous. Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Jared, you went 1-4 last night. I went 1-4 as well on my my puck buck bets here. Let me show them here on the screen. I had the Flyers, Carolina under 6, plus 102. Flyers were able to score a little bit, had 2 completely fluke goals in front of the net. And what was that? A 6-4 final, I think. There's not even close. The Wild minus 162 lost at home to the Kings 5-1. Senators minus 108 got good CLV there. They lost 5-1 to the Sabres. Canucks Ducks under 6 got pushed there. Had a 5-1 final. Boston plus 130 got shut out in Toronto. But Jets puck line plus 130. Decided to go with that rather than the team total. That's my only win there. A 1-4 day, down 66 puck bucks for myself.
Well, for myself, I was watching like 3 or 4 different streams and following different sites, looking at how the counties were voting and whatnot, seeing how you could project forward. So I didn't watch much hockey, but the Senators, that was a bad bet. I mean, they scored. No, it was 2-1. Yeah, it was all Sabres. Sabres dominated. That one was like 5-1. Bruins, Leafs under 6, never in doubt. Close to 5.5, but of course that's because Austin Matthews was ruled out. So I bet Toronto. The fallen star theory works like most of the time. Like the rest of the team just compensates for the loss of the star player, and you get a better price too, like minus 120. So Leafs win, and the under was great. No doubt there. The Bruins still struggle offensively, and Stolarz is once again puts up a great game. Penguins Islanders, a bit of a good break here. It was a low scoring game for a while. Pittsburgh took a 3-1 lead in the third, and then thankfully the Islanders tied it up there to force overtime. And the Islanders got the win too, so we had the money line as well. Not a puck bet though. Kings Wild under 6.5. This one was looking great for a long time. The Kings finally scored some goals. Unfortunately, I did have the Wild money line. That didn't work out, but thankfully the Kings stopped at 5, so we got a 5-1 under 6.5 there. And the Kraken, Avalanche. Speaking of gravy trains, the overs and Avs games all the time, never in doubt here. It was 4-2, like midway through the second. It was actually 4-2 for a long time after that too. It took a while to get us to the over, but then in the end it was 9 goals, so never really in doubt. Canucks, Ducks under 6. Thanks for nothing to Stahl. Canucks probably their best game of the season. The Stahl didn't have his best game. 5-1 win there for the Canucks after going down 1-0. And Blue Jackets Sharks, my only loser. Over 6.5. This was not even close. Like I don't know. I don't even know what happened. I don't even know who won. But I know it was like 1-1 in the third period. So yeah, I was not paying attention to this game at all.
That was a 2-1 win in overtime, I believe, for Columbus.
Yeah,
outshot them like 50-24.
For the Sharks.
For the Sharks took that one, yeah.
Oh, the Sharks won. Yeah. Because I bet the Sharks. I had the Celebrini return game angle, and they somehow came through for me.
Yeah, I bet the Sharks win with a Celebrini point, and it was like plus 280. And then in overtime, he had a gorgeous chance all alone in front to end the deal, and he just basically pretty much put it wide off the goalie. Just got a piece of it, but that was, and then another tough one. But
yeah, that sucks. Must be happy. Connor McDavid's back tonight. Kind of buried lead there. Injury. I mean, this is back. I think he's back a lot earlier than expected here. The Oilers were like minus 110 last night, minus 120. Now they're all the way up to minus 160 there at home against the Golden Knights, who are awful on the road. So, I mean, if you're watching this live, want to bet on the late game, minus 160's got a bit steep there, but it might be worth a look.
Yeah, this Vegas team has struggled on the road so far, so that's probably why the line is like that. But minus 160 for a divisional game, Oilers Vegas that's way too steep. Like as an Oilers fan, I don't even like that price. So, but yeah, Connor McDavid is coming back about 2 weeks earlier than expected. Originally, they had him out for 2 to 3, and he was like reported to be skating like 4 days after he was out. So definitely a strange one, but anyways, glad to have him back. Our offense desperately needed him. You could tell Draisaitl was starting to get tired of lugging all that weight. So yeah, this will be a good one between the two today for sure. A couple of heavyweights.
I'm interested to see the updated heart odds with him coming back sooner than expected.
I was just looking that up. I got to throw it up here on odds checker here.
Yeah, it's already coming down a bit.
McDavid still, plus 450 Caesars, 4-1 Bet Rivers, 370 DraftKings, but you got the Russians there, Kucherov and Kaprizov right behind them at 5-1, and then Panarin 8-1. It's a Russian takeover here.
Mm-hmm.
Makar still 19-1, but I guess see what's going on with his injury first, because is he still leading the league in points or tied for it?
No, he's not leading the league anymore, but certainly defenseman by a margin.
Because McKinnon has 25, and then Makar has 23, and then Kucherov is 22. So McKinnon took him over, but McKinnon's not getting it back to back.
No.
All right, boys, you ready to get into this 12-game slate for Thursday, November 7th?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
All right. Starting us off at 7 p.m., we have the Pittsburgh Penguins at the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina Hurricanes are minus 265. Hurricanes puck line is minus 108. Penguins are plus 215. Penguins puck line is minus 112. Total is at 6.5, with the under slightly favored here. Carolina is just a wagon. 9-2, 4-1 at home. Played extremely well against the Flyers. Flyers got a few fluky goals in there. Still only 16 shots on goal. Haven't allowed more than 27 in their past 5 games. 3 of them have been 19 or less. 4 of them have been 21 or less. So Pittsburgh here on the road has not been good. 2-4-2. Just lost on Long Island. The Islanders came back there. Of course, had the winless road trip up in Canada. So yeah, you got to look the Hurricanes way here. I guess maybe a puck line minus 110, maybe a team total over 3.5. They've been scoring a lot this season, especially recently for the Hurricanes. We're trying to pull up what that is. Over 3.5 minus 155. I think at that price, I'd rather just take the puck line at minus 108 here. About to pick them for the total. I think they probably get back to their defensive ways here, looking like a 4-2, 4-1 type of win. So not going to play the under, but I might end up betting the puck line here.
It's a Penguins game, so I'm always looking to the over first. But like you said, the Hurricanes play great defensive hockey, and it's a 6.5 there. So obviously need 7 goals, and I don't know if the Penguins can get to 2 or 3 against the Hurricanes here, which is probably necessary to get to 7. So guess I kind of look to the over, but nothing strong there. As for a side, it's hard to get in the way of the Hurricanes side team here. The Penguins, they're a little bit more expensive to back than the Flyers were in the last game, but I don't know how much better the Penguins are. So it's definitely not high enough, that plus 215. So if anything, the Hurricanes puck line.
Yeah, we're going to agree here right off the bat. Carolina at home is just a team, you do not want to step in front of. So far, 4-1, they're averaging 4.6. That getting into a bit of a shootout there in a barn burner against Philly, giving up 4 goals there. I don't see Brenda Moore being too impressed with that. So I'm sure film the next day wasn't a fun one. So I'd expect them to want to tighten that up defensively. Probably sacrifice maybe a little bit of offense just to keep pucks out of their net. So I'm going to look to the under here as well at 6.5. I think I agree. This is going to be a 4-1 type kind of game. Carolina has covered the puck line in 7 of their 9 wins. So again, that's getting this at minus 105 against a putrid offensive Pittsburgh team. I think that's as good as you're going to get. So I'd be on the puck line here as well. And I'm not sure who the goalie is going to be. They got Kochetkov projected, but he's played 4 or 5 games straight now, so maybe they do look up to their third string. So I think that's Spencer Martin. If Spencer Martin is in, I'd be looking to the Pens team total under 2.5 as another play. But if Martin's in, then I'd probably just stick to the Carolina puck line.
You also look for some Pittsburgh team total shots under, or if you don't have that, the Hurricanes goalie saves under. They did already play once this season. Carolina won 4-1 in Pittsburgh, and Carolina is just not allowing shots on goal whatsoever. So that was a cash cow for me last night. Flyers shots under. I think they had like 10 in the first period and then 6 the rest of the game there. So Carolina at home just does not allow anything. All right, going down to 7 p.m. again. Have the Buffalo Sabres plus 170 at the New York Rangers minus 205. Total set at 6, over at minus 120, under at plus 100. Joel, what do you got for this one?
Well, the Rangers started pretty well as a team, 5-on-5 unit. Their expected goals for percentage was up there at the top of the league, but it's kind of dropped off as they played a little stronger competition. Remember last show we were talking about how the Senators utterly dominated them, but Shesterkin is bailing them out like he's doing pretty much every game he's played this season with him being in that contract year. So yeah, he's on fire. The rest of the team not playing so hot. I don't think they're as good as their record is. And the Sabres, they're kind of pulling it together. They had a pretty good performance against the Senators and that nice win. So they might be turning things around finally. We'll see about that. So the plus 170, I think, is the only way that I can look right now. I can't back the Rangers at minus 205. Just hoping that Shesterkin plays miraculously again. You know, obviously he's the best goalie in the league right now, and you have to expect him to be great, but that's not how I typically approach things. So Sabres for the Sabres money line, and the total is interesting. I don't know. I think it's just fairly priced. I got nothing for the total.
Yeah, I got nothing for this game. If anything, Sabres plus 170, but I think the Rangers are still just a much better team here. I'm not going to be touching anything. Maybe a live look if the Sabres go up early.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure if Shesterkin's going to be playing here. They just looking at his track record, 3 times this year, he's played 3 games and then gotten a break. So he's just played 3 in a row. So it seems like he's due for a break, and maybe we get Quick here. Quick, while he's only played 2 games, his numbers are absolutely outstanding, where he's second in the league for goals against at 1.5, first leading in save percentage at 9.53, and goals saved above expected is also first at 1.7. So small sample size, 2 games, but he's been pretty stellar backup guarding the crease here. So it's, yeah, and Rangers are another wagon team at home. So I don't really know. This Buffalo team has been pretty feisty recently. They had a good win against the Senators there, but I don't know. On the road, they just haven't played that great. And Luukkonen's been pretty shady, either letting in quite a bit or having a good game. So I don't know. This is kind of I don't think I'm going to touch any side on this one. And the total, if it keeps, maybe hopefully if some late money comes in and it gets bet up, if we get that 6.5, I'll take that under. But other than that, I'd be off the total as well.
Yeah, not much there for that one. Plenty of big underdogs on the slate, and we are brought to you by Underdog. Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports, football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries, so sign up to promo code HGP to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code HGP. Right here, 7 p.m. again. We have the Calgary Flames plus 160 at the Boston Bruins, minus 192. Game itself is in Boston at the Gardens. Total 5.5 over at minus 122, under 5.5 at plus 102. Jared, I know how much you love those Alberta teams, so you can take this one here.
I'll start this with a question. When do we get worried about Boston missing the playoffs? Like
a week ago.
Like right now, I think they're just in by 1 point ahead of Ottawa, and it's crazy to say, but like if they keep playing the way they're playing for the next 2 weeks here, they could be looking at legitimately fighting for that last wild card spot here, which is, yeah, like this is unexpected, I guess, and with Swayman kind of starting slow, you had to expect that a little bit with him having no camp and what he went through with his contract negotiations. Give him a little bit of a kind of a runway here to get going, but it's been enough games where he hasn't necessarily been bad, but he's definitely not playing up to what he's capable of and what he's paid for. So, yeah, Boston's kind of only 4-3 at home. They're bottom 10 in the league for goals for at home, but they are playing pretty playing pretty well at home on the defense side of the puck. Yeah, I think this is a plus 160 here on the Flames for a struggling Bruins team. I think I'd be taking that value. I'm not saying Calgary has been good, but they've been scrappy enough that I can't see why they couldn't take this to have this late in the third period and have them come off with the win. They got a lot of young talent, which is kind of been, as an Edmonton fan, I don't like saying it, but watching Zari, Kuzmenko, and Coronado, they're a pretty good trio. I like the 3 of them. This would be a game I'd actually be looking for the draw. Plus 320 is pretty good value, I think. I could see this being 2-2 late in the game. Yeah, so I like Calgary money line. Total, that 5.5 number is kind of tough. Both teams struggle offensively, so yeah, I'd be staying off the total, but I do like the draw at plus 320.
Sounds good. Yeah, a friend of the program, Gorgon, he had a good idea that, if the Bruins end up firing Montgomery, that's the time to bet the Bruins in these futures because you get the dead cat bounce because it should be like a good Bruins team. Like, this isn't a team that's far different from last year's team. They're one of the best teams in the East. So yeah, if you get a new coach in there, turn some things around, like they just got to get the offense going because they just can't score. Bad off the rush, defending off the rush, but very good in front of the net. And the goaltending, you have to expect that to turn around. So defensively, they should be fine, but they just got to get some goals. So yeah, that's something to pay in mind if old Monty gets sacked sometime. He's a lame duck coach too, without a contract next year. So easy to fire him. Anyway, yeah, I kind of agree with you. Flames have been feisty. Lucky to pull out that win there in Montreal, though. Tied it late and then scored in overtime, unfortunately. Yeah, now going down to Boston. Not a great situation, I guess, but still, plus 160 is just too high. You can't back the Bruins at this price right now. Maybe if they're like a short favorite or a small dog, that's when you want to back Boston, but not as a minus 192 to a team that have been competitive in almost every game they've played so far in the Flames. So, but I do love the under. The under, even 5.5, they're cheap, plus 102. I think that's pretty good with the way the Bruins struggle to score. Flames can get going offensively with their young talent, but their goaltending has been pretty damn good, all things considered too. So yeah, the under 5.5 for me, and I guess the Flames, if anything, if you want to bet the side.
Yeah, I agree there. I think under 5.5 is going to be a play for me at plus 102. Both teams, Dustin Wolf had a bad game against Utah, got a few games off with Vladar starting, and had a good game against Montreal, only allowing 2 goals. Boston, their offense is struggling mightily, not allowing too many goals either. I did have those back-to-back shutouts there, so do quite like the under 5.5 plus 102. And yeah, Calgary plus 160 here. Boston has played a tough schedule, apparently the 9th toughest schedule, according to Power Rankings Guru. So, they're going to get there. Minus 130 to make playoffs now, plus 115 to miss it. Like, looking at their upcoming schedule, like until Thanksgiving, Calgary, Ottawa, at St. Louis, at Dallas, St. Louis, Columbus, Utah, at Detroit, Vancouver, at the Islanders. Like, a lot of winnable games there. So could see them turn around as long as they start to get clicking offensively. But for this one, Flames looking decently recently. So got to go plus 160 for potential play there. But my only pick so far is the under 5.5 at plus 102. All right, going down to 7 p.m. again. We have the Montreal Canadiens plus 240 at the New Jersey Devils minus 298. Devils on the puck line are minus 115. Total is set at 6.5. Both the over and the under are at minus 110 here. Canadiens have not looked nearly as good as we expected to start the season. I heard Elliot Friedman talk about it, how like Martin St. Louis takes it personally when people challenge him. He was, he gave it to his team with the suicides and the bag skate going into Pittsburgh and kind of got softer there. But overtime loss against Calgary at home, 3 straight losses now, 1-3-1 on the road, and the Devils have been looking good. They had a tough start, but won 3 of their past 4, 6-2, 6-0, and 3-0. So plus 240 is pretty high for the Canadiens. But I think if I were to play this one, it'll be the Devils on the puck line there, minus 115. I just think, they're bound to, break out for like a 6-2 win against the Ducks in their last home game they had, like something like that. So Devils puck line would be my only look here for the total. I kind of want to say the under, but the Devils could go off for 5 goals themselves. So going to pass on the total and just take the Devils puck line here.
I think it's just too big of a price here. I got to back the Habs at plus 240. The Devils coming off that long, not long, but far away road trip out there and in Western Canada. Yeah, the Canadiens here, they're a desperate team. They want to get things going. The fans are restless and getting impatient with the rebuild. And like you said, Martin St. Louis is getting, a little under the cosh. People are doubting him, like you were saying, Freeman saying. Yeah, plus 240, I think, is the play. Or you could do the plus 1.5, or even better, though, the Canadiens team total over 2.5. I'm not seeing the price on that at the moment, but I imagine it's like minus 120, minus 130 for 3 goals plus for the Habs. And they're still a good offensive team, even if they're probably the worst defensive team in the league with very hit or miss goaltending. So yeah, the over 6.5 there. Oh, plus
I'm seeing
105.
plus
That's
105.
actually better than I
Yeah.
expected. So yeah, I don't mind that team total because I do expect goals in this game. So even if the Devils win, I could easily see it being like a 5-3 kind of game here when they're getting back home from the West, and the Habs are just desperate team here. So yeah, let's get some goals, preferably for the Canadiens.
Yeah, I I do like that plus 240 price. That is too much. I agree. But this Canadiens team, like their away splits, like on the road, their offense just falls off an absolute cliff. So it's kind of hard to fully trust. Although the Devils at home too have also struggled defensively, giving up 3.5 per game. Their expected is only 2.6. So it's kind of, when is that going to start to regress back to the mean is going to be the question. And potentially against this Canadiens team, because this Canadiens team they're scoring almost 3 goals on the road, which is pretty decent. But their expected is a little bit below that. And then their chances, they're generating 5-on-5, like their scoring chance percent for, as well as their high danger chance per 4 is bottom 3 in the league. So it's just tough. They're not really generating much 5-on-5. So, but yeah, that plus 240 looks good. I'm going to stay off this game. I do think the Devils should take this, but yeah, coming back off that long road trip, that first home game after a long road trip is always kind of a coin flip regardless. So, yeah, and I think I actually do like the under 6 here. This could be a 5-1, 4-2 game all over it. So,
All right. Going down to 7 p.m. again here. We have Nashville Predators plus 150 on the back-to-back at the Florida Panthers minus 180. Panthers puck line is plus 136. Total is set at 6, over at minus 120, under at plus 100. Going first one to you, Joel. But also, did you hear Barry Trotz coming out and saying if his team doesn't improve, he'll have to start the rebuild process?
Well, yeah, they got it because like they got Stamkos and Marchessault in there, and they aren't exactly a spring chickens anymore. And Saros, of course, they got him going. Like, it's actually a bad situation because Saros is not going to be around. Like, if they do a true rebuild, like, he's going to be old when they're good again. They do have a lot of young talent though. Like, I don't understand why they want to restart the rebuild process because they already have like a host of great young talent coming in, so they can easily like build around them. Like. So I don't quite understand that. Maybe it's just like a threat, get this group of guys going. I know Ryan O'Reilly said that was the last game he played was the worst game of his life. He was saying he was like berating himself for like 5 minutes in front of the media. So I expect the bounce back from him, but it's hard to do it against the Panthers. Although the ultimate Malinsky special, they're coming out not from Canada, they're coming all the way from fucking Finland. Are the Florida Panthers here? So good spot, I think, for the Predators to bounce back. Give me the plus 150. This team is too good to be this bad in terms of their record anyway, and I figure they will get a bit more bounces their way. I know it's tough going against the Panthers here. I don't know if I mentioned on the pod, but I hammered the Vikings money line, tied with Panthers to win the Stanley Cup on Sunday. So I've already invested in some Panthers stuff because I can't help but love this team. But anyway, for this game, giving the Predators a plus 150. The total, yeah, like Predators are just playing under games. They can't score. They're playing better defensively, I guess. And the Panthers, yeah, they're always good defensively. And their goaltending has been pretty rough so far. Bobrovsky's one of the worst starters in the league, but he'll turn that around eventually. But as for now, the under 6, I think even money is good enough. But Predators money line for me.
yeah, I think I'm on the opposite side here on this one. I was actually trying to find some stats about what's the typical team record or their win-loss record after coming back from the global series, just to see if there was some sort of trend there. And I couldn't really dig anything up, but it's been enough days, you want to say, that especially since this game, it's on the East Coast, obviously. If it was a West Coast team coming home from all the way over there, maybe I'd probably look the other way. But this Florida team is just way too good. And Nashville's going to be on a back-to-back here. I haven't seen anything confirmed yet. It's getting kind of late, but I'm assuming Wedgwood is starting. So they're going to have Saros for tomorrow.
I think I saw Saros is tonight, actually.
Oh.
Is he?
Okay, well, never mind anything I said. Just
Saros is
wait for the Predators. Wait for the Predators. You'll get a much better price tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm kind of – if Saros is in tonight, then I think that's good because if they can put up a little bit of a fight against Washington and have a half-decent game, I think that line, maybe it slips a little bit more in their favor and you get a better price on Florida. But them at home, like they're just so good. And Nashville on the road, averaging 1.6 goals for, which is the worst in the league. And yeah, it's just hard to get behind this Nashville team on the road. So this total, if it kind of slips to 6.5, I will take that under. But my play here would be Florida in regulation. So I'm pretty sure you can find that at -115, -120. And yeah, if Wedgwood's going to be the starter tomorrow, then I love it even more.
Yeah, I got to lean Florida's way here. I know they're coming home from the Global Series, and I think anecdotally they usually struggle, but I mean, it's been, it was Saturday they played, probably flew back Sunday. They've been home for 3 days now before here. And yeah, Predators on a back-to-back in Washington, D.C. tonight. That's going to be a tough game. The Caps have been really good. And now, as Jared just said, Preds have not been too good on the road. I'm just surprised they haven't broken up that top line. It seems like they're keeping their top six together with that Forsberg, O'Reilly, Nyquist. And I do think Trotz is just threatening them just to say that, because they just locked up 2 33, 34-year-olds until the end of the decade here. But this team has to get going here. I just don't think this is the spot for them. Plus 150, like Joel said, if it goes up with Wedgwood being confirmed, plus 175, plus 180, maybe get in there. But at these prices, yeah, either Panthers regulation, Panthers puck line, plus 136, definitely not a bad look. They've won 5 straight. All 5 of those games have been by at least 2 goals. And Nashville, last 2 losses, 3-0 to the Kings, 5-1 to Edmonton. A few bad losses before as well, 7-3, 4-2, and 5-2. So yeah, if you like the Cats, bet it now. If you like the Preds, wait until puck drop. I like the Cats, for the record. All right, we are brought to you by Rhythm, the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds, get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. You can build your own model, copy one of the top performing models, or press build a model for me, and Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And we're brought to you by BetUS, bet with the best in the business. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. U.S. players are always welcome. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN. All right, I got the final 7:00 game. We got the New York Islanders plus 124 at the Ottawa Senators minus 148. Total set at 6. Both the over and under are around minus 110 here. Jared, what do you got for this one?
Yeah, Ottawa just continues to be one of the more Jekyll and Hyde teams in the league as far as a home and away goes. I was on them yesterday. Sens money line up on the road versus Buffalo. So again, the first 2 periods were pretty back and forth. I will say Buffalo did control most of that game, but Ottawa was in it until the first 2 minutes of the third period. I think Buffalo scored 2 quick ones, and it pretty much put it away the rest of the game. So their offensive struggles continue on the road, but at home, they are pretty much a top 5 team. I think they have the best home record at 5-1, scoring 3rd most goals at home at 4.6. And their defending as well is quite well. They're top 10. They're ranked 9th, 2.6 goals against at home. So Allmark has kind of struggled here and there. He is trending a little bit better. His numbers say he should be playing better than he actually is. And maybe that's just kind of a little inflated due to those home and away splits about the Sens playing in front of them. I honestly don't watch too many of these Sens games, so I don't really know their road performance and how much worse it is compared at home. But at home, this is a completely different team. And the Islanders, they've been a team that, while they're not the worst, I just, for some reason, have an absolute hatred for them. I just hate the style of hockey they play.
Yes.
So it's always hard for me to want to get behind them, because they're 3-3 on the road. They've played their last few games have been kind of like Pittsburgh there. And I'm kind of blanking on their last few stats there. Sorry. But that game against Pittsburgh was kind of just back and forth the whole way, low scoring, low opportunities. There was no real offensive danger from either side. Islanders are pretty good defensively, but I don't think I can get anywhere other than the Sens money line here. I would prefer a little bit better of a line than that minus 148, minus 150. If I could drop it somewhere between minus 135, I think it'd be all over it, because I am pretty hesitant to take like a 60-minute line with the Sens because the Islanders are defensive enough where they could maybe score. And they showed it in the Pens game. They can put a goal late to push this thing to overtime. So yeah, the Sens money line is safe enough for me. And then as far as the total, again, a tough feel. I do want to say under, but yeah, I'm just off the total completely on this one.
Take it, Ryan.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I also hate the Islanders style of play, so I'm glad to hear that. I know Joel does like the Islanders for some reason. So I'm happy to hear that. But yeah, I looked at this game before I looked at the odds. I was like, okay, I like the Sens here as a slight home favorite, maybe minus 120, like you said, minus 130 could potentially take that. But minus 148 here, minus 150. I don't know if I can put my money on that. They've just been, like you said, Jekyll and Hyde. They've been much better at home, 5-1 at home, 1-5 on the road. Islanders have not been good on the road. But played some tough teams. I mean, they did lose in Columbus 2-0. So if I had to play this, Senators minus 148 would be my look here. Maybe take a draw, sprinkle a draw, just because the Islanders love going to overtime. But the Sens would be my only look here. Maybe look to the under. Sens have been playing low-scoring games recently.
The reason why... Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. The only thing I was going to mention was just the divisional match here. Like, these two are going to be fighting for that last wild card spot come the end of the year. So these are extremely important games for the two of them. So this is like a complete toss-up. Ottawa should win it, but Islanders could push this pretty hard to the late here. So
the old 4-pointer. Yeah, the reason why I like the Islanders is because, I've got a soft spot for Lou Lamoriello. These old school guys that the fancy media types, the analytics dudes don't like. And so that's why I tend to favor the Isles. But they actually do have a decent offense. They just don't have goal scorers. Like, they're 10th in the league in terms of expected goals for 5-on-5, but they're second worst in the league in terms of actual goals. So they just can't put the puck in the fucking net. And their power play is fourth worst. So that's not helping them at all. So yeah, they just got to find a way to bury these chances, and then they'll be fine. Their numbers are looking okay, but just can't get the results. But you know what they do? They just push every game to overtime, so it doesn't even matter if they lose these games. You're always going to get that loser point. So yeah, the tie bet I think is not a bad look. But for myself, I don't know you mentioned the Senators' strong home splits, so I'm going to back off the Islanders here, but maybe the back to the well with the Islanders over, because I just expect there to be more goals in these games than what we're getting so far. And the Senators, Travis Green has got them dialed in a little bit better than what was the other coach? Blanking on his name, but they're not the old run and gun Sens anymore. But still, they got a bunch of high quality goal scorers there in Ottawa. So over 6 would be the only possible play for me.
Was that DJ Smith last year?
Yeah, DJ Smith.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that the Islanders are without Matt Barzal as well. Adam Pelech on the left side, and Romanoff and Riley are both day to day.
What?
So maybe
they're bad.
Shit.
Yeah,
that kind of explains the line then.
Maybe so remembering that, I might actually take the Sens here up to minus 150, especially if Romanoff and Riley, at least one of them are out, because they're missing a bunch of pieces there.
Yeah. When you're relying on the best players.
Yeah, Romanov's playing he was playing 24, 26 minutes a night before he went out, and he's the good stay-at-home defensive defenseman, so that's a big loss. Yeah. And when you got Pajot, Palmieri, and Horvat as your offensive, it's just
Barzal's the only creative playmaker there. Yeah, I forgot about Dobson. Dobson's obviously the best. Best player.
All right, going down to 7:30 here. We have the Philadelphia Flyers plus 170 at the Tampa Bay Lightning minus 205. Total is at 6. Both the over and the under are at minus 110 here. I think this is a steep price for the Lightning. Minus 205 coming home from a 4-game road trip. The Malinsky special, obviously. Won the opener in Colorado despite being outshot 35-21, but then 5-3 loss in Minnesota, 7-4 in Winnipeg, and then 3-2 in St. Louis here. Flyers gave the Canes a good scare on Tuesday night. They've shown up in random spots. I think Braden Point is day-to-day for the Lightning, so Flyers could catch a break there. Alexei Kolosov has looked perfectly fine in his few NHL starts appearances for the Flyers. So I imagine he would get the start. Sam Ersson is reportedly on the trip. Not sure if he'll be healthy enough to play. But yeah, Lightning coming back from the road trip. Flyers show up in weird spots. Maybe just a small half unit. Maybe it's just a zero unit play here on the Flyers plus 170.
Yeah, I totally agree here. The
And the over too, over 6.
Yeah, I like the over as well. Right, you mentioned the come back for the road trip plus 170. I think is pretty good for the Flyers. I know they are outplayed in that close game against the Hurricanes, but at least they're showing some spunk. I guess Cam York is not going to be back yet, but I think they're going to be feisty enough to keep this close. So plus 170, another stupid road dog for me. Yeah, I mean the Lightning kind of disappointing in that game against the Blues, but the last game of the road trip. I guess you can excuse it somewhat, but yeah, it's just too high of a price to pay. So Flyers nothing. The over 6, I like that a lot better than either side.
Yeah, I think this is a good spot to take the Flyers, but Tampa over the past few years, betting against Tampa at home has never been profitable. They've been over the course of the last 3 or 4 years one of the best home teams in hockey, so it's kind of always tough to do that. Is there any possible chance Fedotov is going to get the start, or do you think it is going to be Kolosov?
Oh, he better not get the start. It better not be Fedotov.
So maybe this is a game where you just pay close attention, and if depending on the starter, you can jump on the Lightning on the puck line at that time. But yeah, if Kolosov's in, I think they do have a fighting chance. Like you mentioned, he has been decent so far. Yeah, the total it's way too steep for the Lightning, even at home. So I'd actually be looking to take Tampa's team total over 3.5. With a total of 6, you could probably get decent value on that line. I haven't seen it yet, but I'd guess it's probably minus 120 to minus 130. So that'd be my play there. And then I'd look to the over to 6 as well. I think that Flyers have shown that they can score in bunches every now and then. So 3.5 minus 120. Yeah, I like that. I like that price probably more than anything.
Yeah, Kolosov's been fine, but like he's still adjusting to the NHL games, and the Flyers defense is still complete ass, especially without Cam York there. All right, going down to 8 p.m. here, we have the Chicago Blackhawks plus 295. Blackhawks puck line is plus 114 on the plus 1.5. Stars are minus 375. Stars puck line is minus 135. Total is at 6. Overs paying off minus 120 with the under at plus 100. Jared, throwing this one to you. We got the Avs coming up, so I'm saving that one for Joel. So you can take this barn burner.
Fair, yeah, barn burner indeed. Plus 295 on the Blackhawks.
Again, coming home from Finland.
Yeah. I don't hate that whatsoever. Yeah, again, coming home from Finland. Dallas has just been ridiculous at home, though. They're 5-1, but technically that home loss was in Finland, so they are undefeated at on American soil still. Technically, they played earlier in the year, and it was while Chicago put up a fight, it still finished 4-2. Dallas still controlled most of that game. Blackhawks have been decent on the road, averaging 2-point goals for per game. And their expected actually jumps all the way up to 3.8. So I haven't watched very much Chicago games. I don't know if they're getting bad puck luck or just continuously getting goalied, but it does seem like their offense isn't as bad as it's kind of statistically showing. They are on, I believe, the other thing, though, that's kind of keeping me off is the Chicago's on their 5th game of a 5-game road trip. So again, they're on the back half, maybe potentially looking gassed out. So Dallas at home, you have to take them, but puck line, like I mentioned on the last show, I don't like taking puck lines anywhere in the over minus like 105. So I'll probably just stay completely off this game. I might look to maybe a few point props. I know like the Jamie Benn and Wyatt Johnson point prop parlay has been quite profitable, especially at home. So I think that might be my only look here. But and yeah, like I don't know, plus 295 on the Blackhawks is still pretty decent value. It might be worth just a small play just because.
I agree with that. Yeah, Blackhawks have been fairly good, relative to expectation. Not exactly lighting the league on fire, but being competitive in these games. They've beaten the Avs, obviously. Avalanche banged up and all that, and that was a tidy win for them. They weren't really threatened in that one. Taking care of the the Ducks or the Sharks. Anyway, Blackhawks are winning these games here and there, and they actually have a better power play than the Stars do. I don't know, small sample size yet, but still a good unit there, largely thanks to Connor Bedard running the show. So yeah, plus 295 I think is the way to do it right now. I just like you were saying, -1.5 at -135 is just a big price to pay to win a game by 2 goals in the National Hockey League. The over 6 though, I don't mind that. The Blackhawks have been better defensively, but we know the Stars, they have one of the best offenses in the league, and the Blackhawks, like I was saying, their power play is pretty good. I know the Stars have a good penalty kill, but still, I think we could see a couple of goals from the Blackhawks at least. So over 6 and another away road team.
Yeah, plus 295. Plus 295 is just way too high here. I know that it's going to be a back-to-back for them. Mrazek is apparently starting tonight, so it should be Soderblom tomorrow. Just came home from a 5-game road trip hosting the Red Wings here on Wednesday night, then going down to Dallas on Thursday here. So a lot of travel for the Blackhawks, but a lot of travel for the Stars too. Like you said, coming home from Finland there, and you can't pay -375. You can't pay -135 on the puck line. So Blackhawks plus 295, maybe a quarter unit, half unit on there. I am seeing Blackhawks team total over 2.5 is plus 140. Over 3.5 is plus 340. They have scored 4 goals in each of their past 2 games, 3 of their past 4, both wins there. So I mean, plus 340, I think might be a better bet than plus 295 on the money line. Could see a 5-4 loss or something like that. But yeah, got to go the Blackhawks way here. Can't lay -375 on the Stars. All right, going down to 8 p.m. again. We have those Colorado Avalanche plus 124 at the Winnipeg Jets -148. Total is at 6.5. Overpaying off -115 with the under at -105. Jolie, take it away.
A rematch of the first round in last year's Stanley Cup playoffs. It started off in Winnipeg. The Avalanche absolutely dominated that game, but Georgiev was Georgiev and led him like 6 or 7 absolutely brutal goals. But it was all Avalanche after that. Jets once again failed to play up to their form in the playoffs. Now we got a bit of a rematch here. Jets, looking for revenge. -140, I think is pretty cheap. And you know who we have in net already confirmed? Georgiev, and it's been a while since he's played, so we don't actually know if he's got his game back together, because it's been the Justus Annunen show for the past 4 or 5 games for the Avs. So yeah, Georgiev back in town. So again, it's an Avalanche game. You got to back the over. I mean, you would think the Jets win and the under is correlated, but it's an Avs game. I think that just trumps any other angle. So once again, just take the over in these games. I mean, the Makar loss hurts both for the total and the Avalanche side, obviously, but even still, I think we will see some goals here. Hellebuyck's been good, especially lately, last few games. But yeah, he's going against Georgiev, and he's gonna be letting the leaky goals, and the Avalanche will just have to push and push and push, and eventually Hellebuyck will send it a couple. So the over 6.5 is my favorite bet here. The side, you can only look the Jets' way, especially without Makar now. I mean, that's just a killer. I know Lehkonen came back and all that, but there's a legion of other guys missing from the lineup as well. So Jets money line over 6.5.
Yeah, I agree at the over 6.5. This is I went back and looked up the history of these two teams, because I wanted to so I'll start by saying the reason I wanted to go back and look at the total history is because this is the first time I've in kind of my model I use, I've had a 7.1 projected total, and that's the highest total projection that I've pretty much seen in one of my models. So I was kind of like, holy shit, did I screw something up here? And I went back and looked, and the last 6 meetings of this team, it's gone over 5 times, and of those overs, it's gone over 8 in those games. So the last few times recently these teams have played, it's just been an absolute shootout back and forth. With Georgiev, I've already confirmed that I love that even more. His 4.6 goals against is always good for an over. Makar being out, if that's the case, it's a little tough, but I still think Colorado can generate enough offensively. I know Taves, he's nowhere near Makar's level, but he can step up and provide a few nice apples here and there. So yeah, on the side, I don't really have a play. I'm on this one. I think I'm just going to bet the over and just watch goals. This is a great one. This is a great one to take those line stacks in. And honestly, that bottom 6, that third line of Winnipeg has been so
I
damn
love it.
good of Lowry, Nino, and Appleton. So I don't have point props out yet, but I bet you could sprinkle a little parlay on the three of them, Lowry, Niederreiter, and Appleton, to all get a point. That's probably going to be in the plus 350 range. Lowry's had points in 3 of last 4 games. Niederreiter's had 12 points in 13, and he's kind of the risky one on that line, I guess, but he's still got 10 points in 13 games. So extreme value there, especially if they're going to be matched up against Colorado's bottom 6. That is a huge mismatch. So yeah, I like those guys to record a point. Even if you want to play them as singles, that's obviously probably the smart thing to do. But the greedy guy inside of me thinks that 3-man parlay could probably smack.
Yeah, line stack point parlays have been great for me. So yeah, it's a great call out there. Yeah, completely agree on the over here, over 6.5, minus 115. Gorgiev's given up at least 4. Hellebuck coming off a shutout against Utah. Utah doesn't nearly have the talent that the Avs do. Kel McCarr apparently is okay and a possibility to play Thursday night, but they might just hold him out as a precaution. But yeah, I think either way, I would go with the Jets here, minus 148. Keep betting them until they lose. I know they had the home loss against the Leafs, but 12-1, 6-1 at home. Avs are 3-2 on the road. To beat Seattle at home after 3 straight losses. But yeah, could see a Winnipeg 5-2 win here, much like the Avs last 3 losses. So yeah, Jets minus 148, but a much bigger play on the over 6.5 at minus 115. All right, going down to 8 p.m. here. We have the Utah Hockey Club at the St. Louis Blues. Game is in St. Louis. Both teams are at a pick'em here, minus 110. Total is at 6, overpaying off minus 105. The under at minus 115 here. I don't know. I hate betting on the Blues, but I might have to unload here, minus 110. Utah has not been good at all since the start of the year. They've lost 2 straight, lost 6 of their past 7 here. Without Jersey, without Marino, just not the same hockey team. And you have Ingram and Vajmilk there in net, both not playing too well. And Jordan Binnington has allowed just 2 goals in each of his past 3 starts here. So can't see Utah scoring many more than that. Just got shut out in Winnipeg by Hellebuck here. Blues coming off back-to-back home wins against the Leafs and Lightning. So yeah, love the Blues here, minus 110 for the total. I would play the under if I had to, but my only bet here is the Blues.
I'm just looking at the Utah line combos, and they have Robert Bertuzzi listed as a 4th liner. Is that a different Robert Bertuzzi, or is he playing forward now? Interesting. Yeah, Blues, they just lost Philip Broberg for a while. He was playing very good hockey for St. Louis. But yeah, minus 110 here, I think is like, it's implying that the Coyotes are a better team. I know they're missing Robert Thomas, but the Coyotes are banged up too. Of course, we mentioned Sean Durzee's absence all the time. And I think the Blues are a better hockey team than the Coyotes, the Utah Hockey Club. So at minus 110 here, I think that's a bad line. You have to factor in the home ice advantage. So yeah, I agree with you. Give me the Blues. Kind of like the under 6, just the way the Coyotes can't score anymore. And they still have some good goaltending, I guess. They played Vajmilk in the last game, I think. So it should be Connor Ingram, who is the better goalie. So yeah, the Blues and the under 6 for me.
My guess as to why this is a pick'em is because I think Joel Hofer, whatever the fuck his name is going to get the start. Bennington's just played 7 games in a row. So I mean, you got to give the guy a break at some time. He has been great, but I would not be shocked because, yeah, if you're implying that these are 2 equal teams and you're not taking into consideration home ice advantage for the Blues, I think I got my line, the Blues should be closer to a minus 120, minus 125 favorite. So maybe because of that, it's because of Hofer's going to be in. Even if he is in, I don't know. I think I still lean to the Blues. Them also losing Holloway too is kind of another big hit to their offense. Maybe that has something to play with it. He took that puck to the neck last game and had to actually get stretchered off. And rush to the hospital.
They lost both the offer sheet guys then.
Yeah. It's some of the Edmonton fans have just been complete dickheads. That's what you get for leaving. It's like, well, those were 2 pretty freak incidents and pretty gruesome. Holy shit. But yeah. So again, I do like the Blues here, but I think this is another great game to take the draw. Plus 300. This could be a 2-2, even a 3-3 game pretty late pretty late in the game. So I like Blues money line at -110. I think you're getting a little bit of value there, but yeah, total. I'm staying off the total on this one.
I mean, Joe Holfer's been good. 3-1, shut out the Islanders, beat the Hurricanes. So, like, even if he's in there, I think I love the Blues -110. And if he's confirmed and the line somehow moves towards Utah, just add even more
better.
Blues.
Yeah,
exactly. All right, going down to all the way to 10:30 now. Minnesota Wild at the San Jose Sharks. Game itself is in the Shark Tank. Wild -265. Wild puck line is -105. Sharks are +215. Sharks in the puck line -115. The total is at 6 with the under slightly favored here. We got next. Jared, what do you have for this one?
Yeah, the Sharks have been another feisty team at home recently, so that +215 is kind of enticing. With Minnesota just getting absolutely smacked there by LA, you're going to want to think they're going to want to have a bounce back performance. And Minnesota on the road has actually been one of the better defensive teams in the league. 6th overall in goals against at 2.4, as well as the shots allowed, they're top 10 at 27 per game. So although I do want to take Sharks at home here as a home dog, I think getting that. Again, that puck line's at -105. Yeah, I don't hate it, but if that could slip to plus money, I doubt it will. That would be the play. I think this is just a great spot for Minnesota to bounce back. This is the last game of the Sharks. They've been at home for quite a few, I think, here in a row. So last game of the homestand, but I'm leaving Wild. I think, and Fleury is going to be projected for this game. I don't see why he wouldn't get the start. Maybe give Gustafsson a little time to breathe here. But he's actually been pretty solid himself too. His expected stats, he should be at 2 goals against on average. His save percentage is at .900. I think Fleury's good enough to hold off the Sharks here. With Celebrini being back in the lineup now, it kind of does make their offense a little bit more exciting, interesting. But I did watch most of that game against the Blue Jackets there, and they're not bad, but they're really not generating anything high danger wise. So I think Minnesota Wild puck line here. And I do like the over because I think this could be a game where Minnesota puts up 5 themselves. So
I think I'm going the other way on both of those here. I kind of like the Sharks here at home +215. I know they got some confidence here. 1-4 their past 5 now, got completely outplayed by the Blue Jackets, but I don't know. I've been a Wild hater for a while here. I know they've been good this season, but just burned me there against the Kings. Good on the road, 5-1-1. I'm probably not going to end up actually betting this game, but if I end up chasing, maybe a small Sharks play, half a unit. I also like the under. Sharks have been playing a lot of under games recently. I know, Columbus, Chicago, the Kings aren't really offensive teams, but I don't think the Wild are really huge offensive teams either. I guess they have scored 5 a bunch, but yeah, I would just look to the Sharks in the under here, if anything.
I kind of agree with Jared more with the Wild, just because the Sharks are second worst in the league in terms of their expected goals for percent. I'm looking at that right now, and apparently the Kraken are now the worst. Like right after I bet their win total over, they shit the bed in this fucking road trip. So that wasn't good. But yeah, the Wild, best defensive team in the league right now so far. I mean, they are overperforming a little bit in terms of their shooting percentage. They're like around 20th in terms of expected goals for, 5-5, but 10th in the league in terms of shooting percentage, goals for per game. So you expect that to regress a little bit, but I think the Sharks are a good opportunity to light the lamp. So maybe not going to regress in this one. So yeah, I like the Wild way. I think I was looking at the Sharks team total under, but it's 1.5 plus 175. That's kind of dangerous. And then the under 2.5 is pretty juicy. So that's not really an option for me. So I think I'll just do the puck line thing because there have been a lot of blowouts this year. I know the Wild don't really tend to win by margin, just the way they play, like their defensive style. They're content to sit on a lead instead of chasing it or chasing just stepping on the gas and running it down their throats. But still, -1.5 after I think is okay. Like the way the Sharks played against the Blue Jackets, from all things I've heard, they were absolutely brutal and were just bailed out by a miraculous performance by Vanacek. And I don't expect that to happen again. So yeah, Wild here, first game of road trip like that. Let's get it done.
Yeah, Go ahead.
Sorry. I mean, the trend is going to have to break eventually, but every single one of the Wild's road wins have been by more than 2 goals. So that's another reason why that puck line might be safe. So
I appreciate you bringing that up for that one and the one before you said it. Like I like to know how often this team wins by margin. So that's definitely right there. And just so I don't have Dilly coming at my ass, the Wild 2.81 goals for per 60 at 5-on-5 is the 12th best, but expected goals for per 60 is just 2.04, the second worst. So take that, Dilly. Take that. All right, going down to the final game on the docket, 10:30. Where the Vancouver Canucks -108 at the Los Angeles Kings -112. Total is at 5.5. Over at -122. Under at +102. Jolie, close us out.
Yeah, Canucks finally played a complete game against the Ducks. Went down early, but it was all Canucks after that. Very strong performance from Quinn Hughes, who arguably is still the best defenseman in the league. Makar has all the flashy offensive power, but when Quinn Hughes is on the ice, the stat is pretty crazy. Like the Canucks are 13-4, 5-5. When he's not on the ice, they're 14-18 in terms of the goal differential. So when he's on the ice, the Canucks are one of the best teams in the league. When he's not on the ice, they're mid. So yeah, that's an interesting stat to follow. And just, I think that he could be almost as good as Makar. I'm not going as far to say he's his equal, but he's almost as good. Anyway. Give me the Canucks here. Kings coming back from that short road trip, but still kind of far away there in Minnesota. Vancouver's still in California. Very slight dogs here, -108. I like the Canucks get it done. They typically kind of struggle against the Kings, actually, just the way they play. Tend to be very sloggy games, so the under 5.5 is calling me as well. But once again, I found myself back in the Canucks. I'm just encouraged by the performance in the last one. But we need Lankinen in net. Like, he's got to keep playing because Shelovs is not in. If Shelovs is in, just bail, eject, because he's gonna let in a few dumpers. So yeah, give me the Canucks. Give me the under as long as Lankinen's starting.
Yeah, I think I agree there completely. This is going to be one of the better nightcaps I think we've had. This should be a great game. So I am excited to watch this. Both teams have been very good in their respective splits. Vancouver's 5-1 on the road. Kings are 3-0-1 at home. Both these teams are top 10 statistically in those splits in the league. And both goalies have been playing, kind of above average if it is Lankinen, and then it does seem like we might get Kemper here. So yeah, if that's the case, this kind of does become a true pick'em. So then I do like the little slightly better odds we're getting on Vancouver money line. Vancouver's won 3 out of the last 4 times these teams have played. And the total is 2-2. So 2 overs, 2 unders in those 4 games. So it's kind of a coin flip, it seems like, but I like the under here as well even at 5.5. And again, I think this is my third one I've mentioned now, but I love the draw in this game as well. I think this could be a 2-2 game draw going into overtime easy. So I go Canucks money line and under 5.5.
Yeah, I think I really like the under here, under 5.5 +102. 2 of the best defensive teams in the league in terms of expected goals against per 60. Wild are second. Canucks are third, just behind the Kings there. Or no, Kings are first and Canucks are third there. I'm not sure who had the Wild in my brain. So yeah, 2 very good defensive teams, 2 decent goalies in net, as long as it is Lankinen and Kemper, as it should be for these 2 teams here. Divisional matchup here. So yeah, should be a low scoring game. Under 5.5 would be my only play here for a side. I guess I would look to the Kings at home with 3-0-1 at home. Canucks are 5-1 on the road, but those wins came in overtime against Florida, in Philly, in Chicago, in San Jose, and in Anaheim. So quite possibly the 4 worst teams in the league there outside of Florida. So lean to the Kings at -112. Add something to the lean jar, and under 5.5 +102. All right, that's the 12-game slate for Thursday, November 7th. Let's get into our puck buck bets now. I got mine typed out, so I'll kick us off here. A lot more than I expected for the show. I came in not having too many. Ended up having 8 plays here. Carolina puck line -108 there. 22 puck bucks on that. They are home against the Penguins. Calgary, Boston under 5.5 +102. Devils puck line -115. 23 puck bucks on that against the Canadiens. Got the Flyers plus 170, 15 puck bucks on that. Flyers Lightning over 6, minus 110 for 22 puck bucks. Blackhawks plus 295, it's 10 puck bucks there. Avs Jets over 6.5, minus 115 and 23 puck bucks. And then the Blues minus 110 for 22 puck bucks.
I'm not going to have a lot here. Not nearly as much as they usually do anyway. Certainly not as much as Ryan. Give me the Canadiens team total over 2.5 plus 105 for 20 puck bucks. Give me the Flames Bruins under 5.5 plus 102 for 20 puck bucks. And give me the Senators money line minus 148 for 25 puck bucks. And yeah, give me the what are the Blues? Is this line taken down, or is it still minus 110?
I think it's still minus 110.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
minus 110 still there.
Give me Blues minus 110, 20 puck bucks, and Avalanche Jets over 6.5. The old standard play there at minus 115 for 20 puck bucks. I guess I got more than I thought I would.
Yeah. All right. That's puck bucks for myself and Joel. Jared, what are some of your top plays for Thursday? And we also have a question in the chat from Trevor asking if there's any future bets that you like.
Future bets. You know what? That's something this was one of the first years where I kind of didn't really pay too much attention to it. I will admit, off the start of the year, I was a Lane Hudson drum beater. But so don't worry about that anymore. I just figured
right there
that,
with you.
He was going to be able to take over. Like, I figured he was going to take that power play over from Matheson right off the start, which he ended up doing. But just this offensive struggles of that Canadian team is, even he can't get over that hump. So nothing there. The only I bet it a little bit earlier in the year, but actually not in the NHL, in the NCAA women's side of the hockey team. Actually, the Wisconsin Badgers, to start the year, they were plus 600, I believe now. Now they're bet all the way down to plus 350, and you can find them in other places too. They are just an absolute fucking wagon of a team. I'd be shocked if they only lose 2 games all year. So I know that's probably a bit of a curveball for your listeners for an NCAA future, but that's honestly the only one I got in my pocket right now.
NCAA women's too. I can't even find odds for that. I know DraftKings has the men's. I can't find
the men. I know the men's. I never placed a bet, and I'm kind of kicking myself because I was leaning towards Maine. I kind of like Maine this year. I think they got enough to get it done. Denver is the heavy favorite. Obviously, they've been playing great hockey. So the men's side's really tough. But if you're looking for a flyer, I'd be going Maine.
Oh, no, I'm seeing here Air FanDuel has Wisconsin women's plus 380 still. Would you recommend that at this point?
I mean, yeah, you've definitely lost some value, but I don't think there's a team that can touch them. Ohio State's pretty much the only team somewhat near their level. But they already took care of them pretty good this year by margin. So I'm expecting, right, I wouldn't be shocked if there was over 10 players from that Wisconsin Badgers team to go eventually get into the PWHL. It's just nasty. So, and as far as the NHL for this game's, obviously I'm not on the puck buck stuff, but my 3 favorite plays, I'm a side, a total, and a prop. My favorite, I think, is Florida 3-way at minus 120. That'll be a play for me for sure. Avs Jets over 6.5 is pretty much probably my favorite play of the day. And as far as prop goes, I haven't seen a line yet, but I'm going to be looking at Hagel's over 1 point. If Braden Point is still out, him being elevated to that top line. And sometimes the books are a little slow to adjust those individual player lines when they're moving up and down the lineup. So you might be able to get a decent price on him. Hagel to record a point. Avs Jets over 6.5. Florida in regulation.
Yeah, good call out there with the props when the books are slow there. So all right. Anything else here before we close it out?
I'm good.
All right, then make sure you are subscribed to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on Apple, on Spotify, join the Discord, follow on Twitter at HockeySGPN, and of course, make sure you follow Jared as well. You tweet out your plays typically, so people can follow him there. Where can people follow you?
So on Twitter, we are at play the puck. So play_the_puck. You can kind of see it in my title there. Posting plays daily. Tonight, I think we're riding with Caps money line and Strome to record a point because he's been hot as shit lately. And it's probably too late to get it in now. Yeah, sorry guys, after 5 o'clock, didn't realize. But Protus to record a point's been an interesting look. He just got elevated at the top line alongside Strome and Ovechkin, and his point prop was plus 165. So I took that myself here quickly.
Yeah, that's good. I'm seeing Preds up 1-0 already, which isn't good because I have a bet on the Capitals. So great, great start there. All right, I am Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop.
And I'm Joel Mark. I'm betting the over in the Ravens-Bengals game. Ravens offense is like the best in like 5-10 years, and the Bengals obviously have a legit offense of their own, and not the defensive special. So even at like 52.5, 53, whatever it is now, I love there to be just touchdown after touchdown.
There you go. See ya.